Heidi-ho, good neighbors. I think by now, after watching just a few of my videos, just a few that I have loaded, that you probably can gather that I'm not one to say that people can be separated based on racial differences, or I'll broaden that to any difference where someone is a member of a group and they didn't choose to be a part of that group. They were just born into that group. They were grouped into that group by birth, not by choice. That could mean racial differences, a particular ethnic group, or particular nationality. That I won't say call it wrong, is because I don't want it to be taken to mean that I mean it's morally wrong to have the view. But I do think it's misguided to say that because you see someone of a different race, or a certain race, or a certain nationality, you will be able to tell how they'll respond in a given situation because of their race, because of their nationality, when they didn't choose to be a part of that race, didn't choose to be a part of that nationality. And I'm not even saying that they don't want to be a part of that race or nationality, ethnic group, whatever it may be, but it's just not everyone in that particular group that they were born into will hold the same views that they do. Perhaps people in a certain group are socialized in a different way. Now that may have a difference. So my basic view is that looking at a person, say they're born into a certain group, you won't be able to necessarily, you may be able to draw conclusions, but you won't be able to necessarily, it won't always be accurate to say that because they're in that group that you'll know everything you need to know about them, because you won't. I would like to tell you that I do believe there is one major difference, major exception, where I believe that holds true. The difference I'm talking about is the difference between men and women. Men and women, I believe, are fundamentally different. And there are certain things that could be said about men, certain things that could be said about women. And I believe overall, for the most part, the gender differences are valid and will hold true. You can look at a man, put him in a certain situation, and you can guess how he will react, and you will in all likelihood be accurate. A woman, the same. Put her in a situation and you will in all likelihood be able to predict how a woman will react to a given situation. There's something about testosterone, something about estrogen that makes us different, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't accept, and I hope we can, and celebrate those differences. We are not, I've heard it said that we are not opposites, we are complements. We're not the, it shouldn't be said that we are like opposites as in opposed to each other. We complement each other. What one gender doesn't have, the other fills in. So the purpose of this video is just to maybe point out a few of those differences. I would like to say, and I know a lot of people, this is the millennium, I know a lot of people will disagree with me. I am still fairly old-fashioned in my views as far as gender roles. Still fairly old-fashioned. Now, I'll say I'm old-fashioned with a slight update. I have just a little updated views because I feel that the man should take out the trash and work on the car, and the woman should do the housework and take care of the kids. Yes, I do believe the woman, the mother, is always fundamentally responsible for the upbringing of the children. That's just how it is. Women are the nurturers. But as far as the updated part of my view, I believe a woman should always work. It's not because I take any joy in this. I go to work 5 days a week, but not because I use it to define myself as a human being, my identity. It's because it's important to keep the bills paid. That's why I work. I think it's the smart thing for a woman to work, because this is not a time, say my parents' time. My parents never divorced. My parents were married until my father passed away after 36 years of marriage. My mother is my father's widow. So, but we don't now live in a time where people marry until they pass away. And I think it's the smart thing for a woman to work, because if the marriage ends, I won't say that it definitely will, but if the marriage ends, that she will probably need to be able to support her family. So I think it's the smart thing to do. And also because back when my parents were getting married and before, women had to put up with a lot because they didn't work or had the more menial jobs. And I think it's much better now that women are working, that you don't have to tolerate, say, physical abuse or emotional abuse. If you want to leave, I'm not advocating divorce. I still hope that everyone's marriage will stay intact. But if it comes to that, and it's your choice to leave, then a woman won't have to feel that she has to tolerate a bad situation because she and her kids won't be able to make it. But anyway, I'm just going to point out just a few differences. I hope no one takes offense at anything. One thing, I think I said in one of my other videos, I was giving the woman's version on a story. And I got that from, the comedian Dave Chappelle. We had a DVD of his at our house one time, and I found it on YouTube, so you can look it up on YouTube, where he was talking about just the difference in the way a man and a woman will tell a story. Men just give the facts. This is what happened. Very few words, very terse. Whereas a woman will give all the background. And he was saying the difference is, if you ask a man what happened, he'll say, well, I went into the store and Dave was there and I punched him and I ran out. Whereas a woman will tell the story as, well, first of all, you have to remember, I just finished talking with my mother, and I was thinking, yes, that's the truth. A woman will give all of the background of a story. And that's the way I will tell a story, and that is the way that I want a story told to me. I need all the background to understand it. I need everyone's emotions, how they were feeling. I need all, what led up to this. I need that. Whereas, I'll make it even more personal. Say my husband will be on the phone with his mother. His mother will call him. And he'll be on the phone for an hour and not saying much. And I'll say, okay, well, what was your mother talking about, or what's going on? He said, well, everybody's okay. Whereas me, I want, okay, give me some detail here. I mean, I'm dying over here. Give me some detail. And we both now will talk about the woman's version of a story and the man's version. But think about it. Don't the women, don't you want that detail? Don't you want all that background? Don't you feel that all that's necessary? I feel like someone can't understand the story unless I give them all the background. Whereas a man just, I walked in, this happened. Or, how's everybody doing? They're all fine. My head's ready to explode. I need more detail. But another difference I've noticed is, and this is a small thing, I don't mean that any of these are going to be earth-shattering. I've noticed that men and women get around, navigate differently. Whereas it seems like often men know street names. And I know very few street names. I know the street, I'm doing well to know the name of the street that I live on. Whereas my husband, who is not even from here, knows all the street names. Whereas when I'm talking to my mother and I'll ask her, well, where is such and such? And she'll say, well, that Kentucky Fried Chicken that's across the street from so-and-so, and then you go down a couple of blocks and it's there's the KFC or the Walmart, and I'll know exactly what she's talking about. I know that area. Whereas if you ask a man, he will give you the street names and the directions. Now, one thing I have noticed that I don't really do, I've started saying, giving actual directions rather than, say, if you go down Main Street and you turn left. A lot of women will say you turn left or you turn right.